guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Now, I'm back to doing film reviews today, and if you can't tell by this amazing t-shirt that my parents got me when they were in America, I am reviewing the brand new LGBT film, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, that came out the Friday just gone. Unfortunately, it was only in select cinemas, but I managed to find one nearby called The Curzon Cinema, and I want to do a shout out to my server Katie, who was generally really lovely and made my experience in this cinema I'd never been to before really pleasant and great, and managed to get me to eat something when I hadn't had anything since lunchtime at work. So thank you, Katie. And I'm just going to get straight in to this review. I am issuing a spoiler alert because I will be talking about some plot points within the film. But yeah, let's go on to this review, and this is The Miseducation of Cameron Post. So I'm going to be good with this review, and I'm going to start with the positives first, and then unfortunately go later into the negatives. So the first main thing that I really loved about this film is the main characters, which are Cameron, who's played by Chloe Moretz, Jane Fonda, which brilliant name in general, played by Sacha Lane, and Adam, I can't remember his last name now, played by Forrest Goodluck. So these three characters, absolutely loved. Cameron, I'm just going to point this out first of all. So throughout the whole film, the main things I kept, so there's a lot of sex scenes that pop up in this film just in general. Really only ever featuring Cameron, which made me laugh a little. But what I noticed the most about Cameron Post's character is that the girl is the biggest pillow queen I have ever seen. Like, I think there's only one time when she's not, what is it, pillow queen? Pillow princess. Oh my god, I've already messed up that term. She's the biggest pillow princess, except for the first time that she has sex with a girl. But pretty much every time after that, she is a pillow princess. And I love it, because you would not expect it. And it's always the case with pillow princesses. It's the ones you would least expect it from. But I found it, strangely an interesting thing about her character, that she's very dominant and kind of in your face in general, except for when she's being a pillow princess. But as we see her kind of going through the film in the conversion therapy camp called God's Promise, I know, you kind of see her character become more and more subdued. And I found that was really interesting. It was really good acting on Chloe Moretz's from Chloe Moretz in that effect, because experiencing that and kind of seeing her experience of it, you can sense when she's slowly falling into depression. And from the trailers as well, that we see her say at one point, "I'm tired of feeling disgusted with myself." And unfortunately, that is kind of that point is when she slowly starts to fall into that depression, because the girl that she, I don't know if loved is the right word, but the girl that she cared for, it was around, when she says disgusted with herself, that's around the point where the girl that she was with and got caught with has sent her a letter saying that she manipulated their friendship by turning it into something sinful. But it was good acting on her part, and I like that we see this diverse range in Cameron's character, where we see her kind of at the epitome of like, I don't see anything wrong with what I'm doing, to then kind of getting this influence from the people around her and the doctor who runs the camp, Linda? Yeah, that's her name. Doctor, or is it Lyndon? No, it's Linda. I didn't like her, so I don't want to remember her name. But just kind of the influence of the camp, you just kind of see her slowly starting to kind of hate herself and hating what she is, and so, but then kind of turning it around and realising, actually no, I have no reason to, and getting out along with Jane and Adam's characters. But yeah, I like that we kind of got this diverse range in her character. Same with Jane and Adam's characters, which it was unfortunate that they weren't in it as much as I kind of hoped they would be, which was a little deceiving from the trailer. They're there every now and again and kind of become more prominent near the end. But I love Jane's character was my favourite over it, which is kind of why I wanted more of her, because she was a minx. That's the best way I can describe her. But she was this really cool person. Like the way we introduced to her is her just kind of popping up at Cameron's car door and just taking a picture of her just randomly, no reason at all, but just taking a photo of her and her aunt. And then the next time we see her, they're at breakfast or at dinner, I can't remember now. And Erin, who is Cameron's roommate, which I love the fact that they were pairing gays to live in the same rooms together, because that's not a recipe for disaster. But the next time we see Jane, she's licking her lips at Cameron in like the saucy sort of way that you could probably picture from that look. And that's just kind of, that was the first thing I was like, I love this character. She is my favourite. Same with Adam, like he is the most sarcastic person in this. Well, they're all sarcastic. They're all sassy and sarcastic people. They're all sass queens, really, and I love it. But carrying on with the character thing as well, what I loved is that there was so much diversity in this film. So Jane is of mixed heritage, I believe. There's not kind of much explanation behind it, but I think she is. But she's also an amputee, which you don't see that very often in films, amputee characters, where it's kind of not discussed as much. There's like a mention of like how she lost her leg, but the only other times that we become aware of the fact that she is an amputee is when she's like hidden snacks in her leg when they've gone out for a hike, so they can sneak it out of the house. And when Adam, so her and Adam are like best friends, and he'll help her every night if they're climbing up a hill and she's struggling a little bit. He'll kind of, out of instinct, kind of help, and it's really nice. I like the fact that they did have this character. And then Adam himself is of Native American ancestry, and his family are Native American. But the only reason he ended up in the camp was because his father got into politics and became Christian, and his son was no longer allowed to be the way he is. But a lot of diversity is in this film. There's a lot of kind of the differences in culture and the way in which people were brought up, and it's really interesting. I kind of like that these were the main characters as well, that their lives were the focus, and they've just, I just kind of love them. I'm gonna go back to the sassiness. Their sass levels were immense, and there are many things that I would like to learn from them. The main things that I like, they take the piss out of one of the camp leaders at one point, Rick, or Reverend Rick, who was a past gay who has been cured, and they make fun of the story where he realised he needed to be cured because two people from his church appeared at a gay bar, having seen his car outside and knew he needed to be saved, and they make fun of it thinking, yeah, no, clearly they turned up at the bar for him to save him, you know, why else would they be there except to, you know, suck his dick. And the whole thing is just, I just love that they don't believe in any of this whatsoever. There are moments with Cameron, as I mentioned before, who does kind of have this momentary doubt, but the moment this one event happens, she realises that everything that's going on isn't right. They should be allowed to be who they are, and that's where the end comes up, and they do leave the camp of their own violation and get out. And I kind of like that they do have this camaraderie ship and this general relationship. And I'm a little disappointed that that Cameron and Jane didn't end up together, because they seem like they would work well together. But you know, I'm happy that their characters exist either way. The other thing that I kind of like is that they do talk about the different ways in which conversion therapy comes across. So obviously lots of people hear about the worst sides of conversion therapy, like beatings and things like that. But the thing that goes on with this one, so there's no actual physical attack from the people in charge. It's all about emotional abuse. And there's this line that Cameron says when someone comes to investigate the camp, because one of the boys that was there mutilated himself. Because he wasn't allowed to go home, even though he was fixed. And this guy comes to investigate the camp to make sure that they aren't being treated badly. And Cameron's response is, he says, I'm not here to kind of investigate the validity of this camp. And she's like, what? Well, why not? Just because they're not beating us doesn't mean that we aren't being abused. Like, we are being emotionally abused. We're being made to believe that we should hate ourselves because of who we like. And that was like a really powerful line. It's kind of from there, that's when she decides that everything that this camp is about is 100% totally wrong. When she kind of goes back to the way she was thinking when she arrived. And I kind of like that line came out in this film, because that is a big thing, that lots of people aren't really up in arms about the fact that conversion therapy is still a big thing. Like in America, it's still huge. Here in the UK, we still have conversion therapy camps. Not that most people even know about them, because it's not talked about. It's like that shameful thing that people are aware of in like the peripheral, in their peripheral vision, but it's never spoken about, so it's never completely stopped. And the fact that this line is brought up in a time when I think here in the UK we're trying to get them completely banned, but it's 2018 and these things still exist. Like, so I feel like this line was really important to be brought up in this day and age where conversion therapy is still a huge thing. And I'm going to go off on this, and I'm going to go on a rant about the fact that this film is important because it brings light to conversion therapy. But overall, that kind of this aspect with the characters and the characterization of the side characters as well, because Erin, who is the roommate, is someone who does want to get cured, but we see her relapse because her and Cameron have sex, which is one of the examples I have of Cameron being a pillow princess. But she believes that she needs to be cured, that she can't be this way. And just, so there's so many different variations of people in this camp who want to be cured one way or another, and then some who don't want to be cured because they don't see there's anything wrong with them, which there isn't. Being gay, there's nothing wrong with being gay. And I like that this message is it's bringing to the forefront that this is wrong. But I am going to move on to the slight negatives of this film now. The first one is that this is just kind of my opinion towards this. And I'm just going to say to anyone who does have depression, particularly anyone from the LGBT community, I would give a slight warning for this film, because a big thing that kind of came out from it, from my experience of watching this film, is that with the way in which the cinematography works, it feels like you are involved in the conversion therapy that's going on. So you're involved in the discussions and everything that's going on with the group. And kind of having depression and being aware of that. And it, like, in the past I've had problems trying to deal with my sexuality. So for me it was very difficult afterwards, because I'd gone to the cinema by myself because that's what I do. I then had to travel home by myself, and so I was by myself for at least 4 or 5 hours during the film and after the film, dealing with these emotions of kind of feeling like I was involved in what was going on in that film. So I would give a warning to anyone who thinks that they could be affected by the discussions that go on in the film of how being gay is sinful, and trying to correct the way in which you think. Like there's a point in the film where someone says, well, the whole thing of believing that she has corrupted her friend. Like her friend says, you took advantage of our friendship. Well, her friend, the girl that she slept with, says she took advantage of their friendship. There's a point where they say that because Cameron thought she was perfect, that she confused wanting to have sex with her instead of wanting to be like her, and things like that. So it kind of gets into your head. So I would definitely suggest kind of being aware of that, or at least kind of taking someone with you, so you've kind of got that comfort afterwards if you do start to feel a little bit self kind of aware of previous thoughts or anything. So that's just kind of my own warning, just because I know that's what happened to me afterwards. I just want other people to be aware too. My other negative, unfortunately, is that there kind of isn't really a plot that goes on with the film. Like, the general plot lines are, there's an inciting incident, which I kind of guess there is, like her getting caught, and then the next inciting incident is like someone at the camp hurting themselves, but kind of other than her kind of being at this camp, there isn't kind of like a main narrative that's going along. Like, the story's just kind of there, it's just kind of happening. I don't know, it may have just been me, but I feel like the story was just kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it's interesting the way in which it works, as in it's kind of like an everyday sort of story. Like, this could be like something that's happening to someone now. Oh god, sorry, a picture just fell off my wall. This could be like someone going through conversion therapy right now. This could be the story they're experiencing. But I don't know, it didn't, like, kind of afterwards I just realised there wasn't really any story. It was just kind of, things were just kind of happening as is, and we were just kind of following it. Also, the ending, I was slightly disappointed with the ending, because it wasn't a particularly happy one, or at least the characters kind of didn't look happy. So they got out from the camp and they kind of got away, but they're sat in this back of the truck that you kind of see of the poster, them sat in this truck, and they don't look particularly happy. They look like kind of lonely and sad, and they don't really, I guess it's possibly the realisation that, yeah, they've left this camp, but they don't have anywhere to go now, because their families are the ones who sent them there, so they can't really go back to their families. So it's kind of quite a sad ending, and that is completely how it ends, them in this truck with sullen faces. And so it's kind of a little bit disappointing, because I kind of hoped for a little bit of a happy ending, but I guess, so the film's kind of is set in 1993. I don't know where in 1993 America, but I guess, I don't know, maybe that was kind of the point, that there wasn't really the availability for that much of a happy ending in the 90s or something. I don't really know, but I kind of felt a little lukewarm at the end, which was unfortunate. But the film overall, other than kind of like that after feeling I had, which I've given that warning for, I did enjoy. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like, I was laughing, I was getting involved in the emotions that were popping up, I got invested in the characters, and I'm pretty sure that if Jane was real, I would want to marry her, and I probably would ask her by now if she would marry me. And Adam would be my best friend, and Cameron, I don't know, well, she's a pillow princess, I can deal with that. But yeah, with all that, I still enjoyed the film, and I would suggest going to see it. Unfortunately, it's in select cinemas here in the UK, so you're going to have to find out where it's showing. But I would suggest going to see it. But if you do, as I said, if you do have depression and are of LGBT and are worried that something could affect you, just take someone with you if you can. But if you can't, at least you've kind of got the warning, so you're aware of it beforehand. But yeah, so this is my review of The Miseducation of Cameron Post. Do you guys think you'll go see this film? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, and if you've seen it before, discuss with me your thoughts on the film. As always, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit that button below, or the one that will be popping up here on screen. If you're not following my Instagram or my blog, the links will be in the description box below. You should watch one of my previous videos, it'll be popping up here on screen too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.